Aaron, appreciate you being here, man. Really, really do. Real quick, just to give people some context, why don't you fill people in with like a brief introduction? Like, who are you? What do you do? Just kind of tell us about who Aaron, the human being, is.
Yeah, so I'm a wonderful believer, strong believer in my faith. I've been married for almost 23 years now. I had to make sure I get my numbers right on that. Uh,
Yeah, I get that
two
right.
two wonderful teenage daughters, loving life. My wife and I love to travel. We love doing board games. We love doing hiking, things like that. I actually work with business owners and leaders, providing and leadership teams, providing tools and resources to help them solve problems that happen in their business, help them to have that better vision and better culture within their team and organization. And so that's what my heart and my passion are for. And I get to do that with business owners all over the country and get to spend time doing that. I have a software background. I have a financial background. I have a music background. As you can tell, I have a few instruments
Yeah.
around, and so a lot of things that play into just my story and my history. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And obviously, you and I have known each other and worked together in some capacity for what? I mean, a little over a year
a
now.
little bit here now, yeah.
A little over a year. Why don't you give people again context on, what was the situation before we
Yeah.
met? Like, where were you at with your weight, just your health overall?
Yeah, so I'd love to just back up a little bit, just kind of give a little bit
Yeah.
of background. So when I graduated high school, I was about 145 pounds, sopping wet. I was very involved in marching band, and in fact, people go, "Oh, marching band." Our band director was a Navy guy, and so we ran laps and did push-ups and did all the stuff. So I was in pretty decent shape. Went to college, and of course, college, you find ways to stay active, but then you also find ways to eat junk food because, you're out at midnight and studying and eating pizza rolls and donuts when you shouldn't be. And so, graduating college, I was at 175. And so, after college, not long after that, got married and moved. By the time we had our first child, I kind of took on the whole thing of, when my wife was gaining weight with pregnancy, I was like, I'm going to support her and gain weight with her. And so at that point, I had gotten up to about 230 or so when we had our first child. And then from there, I always use the excuse my metabolism slowed down and I wasn't as active. And so I continued to eat like I'd always eaten as I'd grown up. But my body said, hey, guess what? I can't get rid of it like that anymore. And so I found myself approaching around 275 when it was all said and done. I had gone through and done during a period of time before we had our first child, I'd gone through and done Weight Watchers and had actually dropped down to about 166 before ballooning back up to that 230 mark before she was born. And so did try to do Weight Watchers a couple more times. Never really stuck. Never really got there. It literally was just starving myself. But there was no other thing that was happening. And so, yes, I was losing weight, but to what extent? And then I'd find myself ballooning. And so every time I did it, then it was like I kept going to a higher level each time. My numbers kept going up higher and higher. So finally, I said, I got to do something different. And was actually doom scrolling through Facebook one day and came across what you were doing. And I was like, okay, this seems different. This seems interesting. So I signed up for a free piece of information from you guys. Kind of got like a free trial, some stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this is completely different than anything I've ever seen before. I got to get on a call with this guy. I want to talk to him. And so Joey, you and I got on a call, started the conversation. I'm sitting about 270 going, bro, I need something. We got to do something different. We got to have something. And so I need your help here. And I need you to talk me through why what you do is different than anything else that's out there. I'd actually tried Ozempic the year before and actually lost some weight on Ozempic before getting really, really sick from it and realizing I couldn't sustain that. And so again, I tried all these little things that weren't actually they were making a piece of the change, but they weren't actually changing things. And then when push came to shove and I got back to my normal activity, here we go, right back to where I was.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that. And I think you share a familiar journey to a lot of people that I've worked with in the sense of this is not your first rodeo.
Yeah.
You know, You have lost weight before, you have tried a million different things, and as vulnerably as you're willing to share,
Mhm.
I'd be curious to know for you specifically that like last ride back up to 270 before we met. You're sitting there, you're looking at the scale, you're seeing 270, and you're there again, or even maybe higher than you have been historically after having lost it multiple times. How did that make you feel in that moment, just staring at that 270 again before you and I actually met?
Yeah. So, um, my wife, I love her. She's such a blessing to me. But there was and she did it so gracefully. This constant, and I won't say constant. It was enough to remind me, but she would go, "I'm really concerned about your health. I'm really concerned about your health. I have family history of some major health things, and just for perspective, I'm 45, 40, yeah, 45 now. My father passed away when he was 47, and so I'm quickly approaching that age, and he was overweight. Now, there's some different things that he chose with his life that I've chosen not to do, that played into that. But it's just some of the things that I could see those trends that were happening that way. I got two teenage daughters. I was coming quickly to that place of going, man, I couldn't do activities with them. I remember going to a theme park a number of years ago and getting on a ride and them not being able to get the harness down over me. And I went, that one was kind of a painful one. And so that really kind of just stung and hit really hard at that point for me. And so I was really kind of reaching that point of desperation. I just needed something that would do different than anything I've done before. And I needed something that was going to show me that it was going to be something different. Uh, and I almost needed something that was going to be difficult, that wasn't going to be easy. I needed something that I knew I'd have to put the work into to be able to get to that place of going. Otherwise, if it's easy, it's going to be easy to fall back out of it.
Mhm. And I have to imagine with all of the trial and error that you went through, all of the different solutions that you tried, I have to imagine there were some doubts or fears or just negative thoughts around this whole process, like
Oh yeah.
having doom scrolled on Facebook and found this stranger that promised they were going to help you, just like all of the other strangers before. Like, what were some of the like big doubts, big fears, or like thoughts that you had coming into just initially meeting me for the first time?
Yeah, the reality to it was, Joey, is there was plenty of times where I questioned my sanity on the thing. Uh, because in all honesty, I mean, it's the whole thing of I have spent time, energy. I'm a big ROI person. If I'm going to spend time, energy, effort on something, I want to make sure I get a return on it.
Yeah.
And I had done all these things previously, and I'm like, what's going to make this different? There's even times after we even started in that first probably 2 to 3 months that I'm going, okay, I'm seeing stuff, but is it really gonna stick? Is it really gonna change? Is it really gonna be, yeah, this I've been here before. You start having all those that self-doubt, those talks, everything, everything coming against you and just making you question, am I really gonna be successful at this? And there's something that you and the team kept bringing back to me that helped me to stay focused on that piece. And that was what's my motivation, what's my why for that. And my why kept coming back to my family.
Mm.
And more than anything for me, I want to be healthier. I want to lose weight. I want to look, better and all that kind of stuff. But the real motivation really came back to what about my family? Am I going to be able to be present for my family when they need me? And that was the piece that kept fighting against all those fears, all those doubts, all those things that kept coming up. So.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And just so we can kind of like start to land the plane for people, they kind of have the context now, they know where you're at. Like, where are you sitting now
Mhm.
in terms of the course of this last, what, 13, 14 months of knowing each other?
Yeah, so it's interesting because you have that massive drop that happens those first 6, 8 months, and of course then you start to hit that plateau, that level off, and you and I have had lots of conversations on that and how we continue through that. I'm excited to say that I'm sitting at 208 as of this morning. I am striving to get to my goal is to get to 185. But we're doing it in a healthy way. I'm not sitting there trying to starve myself until I hit that 185 mark. We're doing this where all right, we're now at a better place. Let's continue to maintain this, and then we're going to work our way down as we continue to strength build and all those things. And so that's the piece for me over the last really kind of 15 months, it's been a change in mindset. Instead of just going, hey, eat less calories, eat less calories, eat less calories. Yes, and make sure you're getting your walks in, and make sure you're doing your strength training, and make sure you're getting your protein, and let's make sure that we're making good choices on all these things. And so that's what was great for me with this.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And obviously, again, you and I have had the back and forth where, like, I say this time and time again, like publicly and also privately with clients, where I can give you a really good plan, but at the end of the day, like you have to execute it.
Yep.
And so it's kind of one of those catch-22s where it's like, yeah, I can give you a plan and it might be the difference for you, but you still have to go and do the work. And you have absolutely done the work. So obviously, like at a client relationship, like I'm extremely proud of you, but also at like a personal and friend level, like I'm proud of you too, because I know obviously it hasn't come easily.
Yeah.
And you have had plenty of discussions throughout the course of those 14 months where it has certainly not been all sunshine and rainbows going through it,
No.
right? I mean, there's highs and lows, and there will be for everybody too, right? So that's important to acknowledge as well. And I guess just with where you're at now, again, not your first rodeo, getting off 60, 70 pounds. I guess in terms of this time around, how do you feel sitting at 208 this time compared to maybe the previous times that you've actually been able to get weight off with other
Yeah.
solutions? Like what's different this time sitting at 208? How do you feel differently about it going forward and the sustainability of it?
Yeah, I actually enjoy life. I don't hate people because I'm hangry all the time. No, in
Yeah.
all seriousness, though, I mean, that's a reality. The second
Yeah,
thing
it is. Yeah.
is actually the mental game that I don't know. Even going into this with you, Joey, I don't know that I really fathomed how deep the mental game was in this as much as it's a physical game.
Mm.
Because you start and man, you start seeing those pounds shed, and you're just like, yeah, let's go, let's make it happen. And then you start to hit that plateau, and it's like, you suck as a human being. And it's like, wait, what just happened? You start beating yourself up. And there's as much in that mental game as there is in the physical piece. And I think that's the part that I think often gets overlooked, especially by something like a Weight Watchers or something like an Ozempic. It's like, yeah, we're taking care of the physical, but we have no idea the mental toll that plays into that. That's one thing that I love about having a conversation with you is when the mental thing kicks in, more than the physical, more than the man, Joey, I just can't hit my numbers today on my workout, or man, I just couldn't get my steps in. It's that, dude, I feel like crap today. Walk me through, help me to overcome this negative mentality that's beating me down right now. That's the kind of stuff that makes a difference for me. And knowing that I've got somebody sitting there on the other side that's there to coach me through that and guide me through that, hands down, makes it completely different than anything else I've ever done.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear. And you mentioned like really how big of an impact this was actually having, um, even at like a personal level, right? Obviously, your wife's concerned about you. You're not able to do as much stuff with the kids and things like that. I guess now where you're sitting, like, what are some things that you're able to do now that you weren't able to do, say, a year ago? And two prong, like, what is the difference in impact that that's had at a personal level, like relationship wise for you?
So funny enough, we have a wonderful neighborhood that we can go walking in and stuff like that. When I first started, it was, man, get 20 minutes of walking if you can.
Yeah.
And that was where it started, was 20 minutes of walking. This morning, my wife and I walked probably close to 2 miles in our neighborhood and just had discussion about what's going on in our businesses. She's an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. We're just having discussion about our business and talking. And a couple weeks ago, we were walking, and she goes, I want you to notice something. She goes, we just finished, 2 miles, and you're not winded. And I was like, yeah, you're right. That's actually true. I could barely do up the hill and back, which was a quarter of a mile when I first started this stuff. And so I see that. I see one thing I'm very excited. Next week, my family and I are going on vacation with my wife's extended family, and we are going to Dollywood. And guess what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be riding roller coasters with my daughters that I've not been able to do in a few years. And I'm
Yeah.
very excited about that more than anything else, just to be able to ride the roller coasters with them and have fun with them. They are dying to go to Dollywood and ride the roller coasters with me because they know I can now. And so that just gets me excited thinking about that as well. And so those are the kind of things where I just feel like I'm in much better shape. I love playing sports, and so if I can get my hands on volleyball, if I can get my hands on pickleball, if I can do stuff like that, I love doing those activities. and would just be honest, much rather do that than go running anywhere, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I am not a runner. I used to tell a joke that I did two half marathons in one day, my first and my last. And so, the whole reality of it is that is not my cup of tea, but I love being able to go do the activities and stay active with those kind of things. So yeah, that's really kind of what's going on with me now.
Man, we got to set up a pickleball date next time I'm in Tennessee. We got to line
Come
that up.
on, let's
Yeah,
do it.
we gotta line it up. Aaron, well, I appreciate you sharing all this. And my kind of final question for you, and like my closing question anytime I have this interview is like very specific. And it's if there's somebody watching this who resonates with your story and they hear your heart, they hear your experience, and they're maybe on the fence about taking the next step, not just with me specifically, but just in taking action to losing weight and truly making a transformation in their health and their fitness in their life. Like, what would you tell the person right now who is unsure about taking the next step, whatever that might be for them?
Yeah, I think the big thing is define your why. Why do you want to do it? And remind yourself of that every single day. That why is that motivator behind the whole thing. And so if you've got a solid why, if you're just there to go, I just want to, I kind of want to hem and haw and lose a few pounds, ain't gonna make it. It ain't gonna last. But if you go, man, I want to be there for my daughters to graduate high school, to graduate college, to walk them down the aisle, to get to a healthy weight and show them that I can do something hard that teaches them that they can go into this world and do hard things. That's my motivation right there. That's the kind of thing that drives me every single day to go walking, to go do my workouts. And you know what I do? Workouts are not fun. I don't thoroughly enjoy the workouts. But the
Yeah.
reality of it is, I know the benefit on the other side of it, and that's my motivation. If I keep that in my mind, man, I'll keep rocking and rolling with it.
And I think you're framing it in a really good way where it's beyond like motivation in the short term of like waking up today and it's like, well, we got to hit the workouts. It's no, it's a why. Like it's much deeper than just like the short term like
Absolutely.
emotion of I'm feeling motivated today. Because again, you and I have had this back and forth where even me, I do this as a profession. And if I was honest with you, I'm probably only, motivated or feel like doing it, you know, maybe 20% of the time. I think
Yeah.
it's more motivation as a choice because there is a deep why behind it. And I think one thing I've heard that's been helpful in some cases for people is how do you turn this into a need to do, right?
Mm,
That you have to do. And what is it that's going to be? And for you, obviously, you're able to do that, right? And I think turn this into a no, this is not just something that I should do. Like, I need to do this. I
yeah.
need to make a change. And again, you get that motivation, you get that why as a choice as opposed to an emotion that kind of comes and goes day to day. Because if that's what it is for you, it's going to be really hard to get it off, and then it's going to be really hard to keep it off. So I
Yeah.
think you have framed it really perfectly for people. And again, I thank you so much for doing this, Aaron, right? I mean, obviously, at a business level, you get it, right? How beneficial this is for me, but also at a personal drive for some folks. And again, people that might not even work with me, but they at least hear your story, and it
Yeah.
encourages them to take the next step, whatever it is for them. So I appreciate you doing this, man.
Well,
And
and
again,
my heart, and you know my heart, Joey, but my heart is to go, man, if I can help some person in any way, and my whole mantra has been if I can help you to be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday, and a better version of yourself tomorrow than you were today, I've been successful. And so I'm hoping that that helps anyone that comes across this do that.
yeah. And I think you did that today, man. So thank you very much. Seriously, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother.
Awesome.